Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I have another FICM, this time from John Colley from PA. His concern is the regular problems that all these FICMs are. Sometimes injector firing, sometimes it's not. In his case, he has a whole bank that is not working. So he sent it like, Mike, I just want to refurbish it, make sure that I'm not going to have a problem and it's a hole through the board. I said, please open it up before you send it just to make sure that it's not too late. And then you can also see it. He's opened it up and everything was looking good. So I have right now pretty much all the repairs completed. As you see also, when I get close in here, this is just so he can see. This is actually the paper that he sent me, but all his information on the other side, so I just put his name in there. All right, so I already applied the conformal coating on the tab, replace all the capacitors, the injector drivers. The pre-driver in his case is so far looking good, but I want to do the complete test with the curve tracer. I have everything ready to go. So on here, I usually just go into, um, let me just make sure, auto test. Okay, so I'm going to start with the auto test. This is going to give me an arrow of where to start. So I'm just going to follow that arrow and then touch in here. Let me just make sure this is not all tangled up. So I'm going to touch in here. And as you can see, immediately pass, I touch. And one thing that I want to show is, hopefully the camera can see it because it's green on green, but we have a green dot in here. Now the X move over to the next test point. So I'm just going to keep you here. Sometimes depends on what the signal is showing. I have to um, let me just make sure I'm in the right spot. Good, yeah. All right, so that is passing. I'm going to just go over to the next one. This one needs to charge a little bit because it's part of the capacitors that are in the circuit. So it's going to show red at first, you see, like the red around the entire perimeter of that square. But now the signal is in the correct spot, so I'm going to retouch it. And now that it's loaded, you see, now it's green. So I can move into the next. So that first driver now has the 3 green dots, and I'm moving into the next one. So I'm going to just stop the video, do the entire test so I don't hold you for just repeating the same thing, and I'll be right back. All right, the test is completed. And as you see now, we have everything in green. So all the board is checking out as good. I'm going to now change the image. So I gotta probably close this. Let me just try to load the image, but sometimes when I change the image, the software crashes. We'll see. Backside. I didn't, so let me load the data. Right here. Okay, well, everything worked out. Oh no, it did. You see, when I'm doing this, I have to quit the software. So give me just 1 second to open the software again. I don't know why it doesn't like to change the image. Make sure all my settings are correct. All right, I'm going to an advanced mode. I gotta load the image, and I have to load the data, which is obviously my data. I can close this up now and then do the auto test as well. All right, so this is going to be the same way. Oh, I have to reposition this because I'm in the front side, so give me 1 second. All right, relocated, and now I have the green dot into the one and the red, the cross. So I'm going to complete the back side and be right back. Again, I'm just doing this quickly. If you want to see how this process goes, it's just touching. These are my own information that I have saved from known good FICMs, which I have repaired lots of them, and you can see in other videos. I have a playlist for the 2000 so FICM GM, so just look for that playlist and you can see all the information This is most for the customer, also to share the information and how I do it, but I don't want to hold you into just moving a pin and doing the test, so I'll be right back. All right, the back is also, as you see, test completed, and I have, just to show you in there, all the green dots. All right, so I'm going now to connect it to power and check the communication, make sure everything is good. So let me start the video and I'll be right back. All right, I got connected everything that I need, and we have a nice communication, so everything is looking good. Let me just explain you the connections that I use. Pretty simple for the test, for these tests, right? So just for communication, I never show the injector test that I do, which is stressing the actual drivers, because this is a high voltage circuit, and that will be a liability for me or someone trying to say that I show how to do it and it got hurt. So I never show that one, and I do perform that test as well. But I have a controlled environment. I know what I'm doing, so it's a safe, completely protected test that I do, and I don't want to share again. But yeah, so this test for communication, all I use is grounds and connector. These connectors are pretty easy to see. Connector one and connector two. Connector one, I think this whole uh, connectors are marked inside from 1 to 120, so you can see the pin now is internally in the board or in the connector, sorry. Uh, Grounds in pin 2 and pin 114, powers on pin 5 and pin 119. The CAN bus, this is a CAN bus data, that is a SAEJ1939. This is an internal uh, bus. It's not for diagnostics, but let's say it is part of the diagnostics because after the engine control module, then the scanner can read all the data through the engine control module for the glow plug controller, for the fuel injection, and so on. But yeah, so the pins on there are pin 91 is the positive side of the bus, and pin 90 is the negative side. So we can see here, now we have a nice and clean waveform. I can remove the trigger so you can see that that is actually moving. Because the trigger kind of like it stops the signal a little bit. I'm going to turn this off. Oh, forgot to put my microphone. Sorry guys, I'm not sure how much you were listening about everything that I was saying. So what I said is, well, I'm doing the test for the CAN bus communication. In this one, as you saw in the image, I just put grounds and connector pin 2 and pin 114. Connector C1 and C2 all are marked inside, so there is no way to miss it. And then powers on pin 5 and pin 119. Communication on the SH 1939, SAE J1939, that's the bus protocol, are in pins 90 and 91 for the CAN busing or the bus positive and bus negative. I don't do, I don't check, sorry, I don't show the stress circuit test that I do for the injectors drivers due to it's a high size circuit and I don't want to be liable of somebody telling or suing me because I show something and they got hurt. I do it and I always do it, but I don't show it because again for the liability reasons. But yes, I always stress all the circuits to make sure everything is working 100%. Okay, communication, as you saw, is working good. So the reason I turn them off is because I want to show you how is when I just turn this on. All right, so this is running around 240 milliamps, and you can see the bus. This is just a message of like hello, 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 because nobody else is connected. But we need to make sure that we can see that message very repetitive because it's looking for somebody to talk. Nobody connected, but the bus is fully functional. And when you go out, you can see how like it look like a high and low or something like that. That is all just aliases of the scope because of you're very far away. So if you want to see the signal as is, you see when I change from here from 200 microseconds to 500 microseconds, you see like a little high and low. That is actually if I stop this. We see something low and high. Let me just show you. And that again is the scope aliases just because of the speed. If I go and run the scope and I go down to 200, you see how now the signal looks completely different? Again, I can definitely change that even in half a second of if I change the filter that I have in here. Again, it's all just because of the signal that I'm acquiring. But if I change the filter, yeah, now to that faster signal, you can go to 1 megahertz, yeah, 1 megahertz, and now we can see how even faster now the signal looks more evenly, right? And again, that's just my settings. So scope is just a graph of what is happening in the signal. It doesn't really change the signal. It does have capacitance and resistance through the wires, right, on the oscilloscope. The impedance on these ones, I think, is like a 1 mega ohm on this oscilloscope. If you're working on a protocol like a flex ray, you need to have an attenuator in place, otherwise you take the network down, but that's for something else. For this signal, not a problem. John, everything is good to go and ready 100% in your FICM. I will be uploading the video and sending this your way. Thank you so much for trusting my Salazar Diagnostics. And as I explained, John, what I do does not compare to anyone around. There is no other company that provides the service that I provide. And the proof is in the pudding. If you want to go and see the last video that I put for the FICM or the one in Andy in Florida where they got completely damaged and destroyed by a company, not even sure where it's located. I think it's SAI or something like that. Electronics. Don't go that way. They just destroy your boards. They don't put the correct parts. And yes, that's a big difference on the price because yes, I take extra time on make sure the board goes back to you looking like new, clean, provide a protecting coating. I applied 6 coats of a resistant coating against, uh, fluids because it's not just against water. So because this is cooled by fuel, so this is the case, right? This is the actual part of the FICM, right? So fuel goes through here and it warms it up or cools it down, right? Depends on what the temperature is to keep that bore working properly. But yeah, if these seals, these are banjo balls on the side, if those seals start to leak, that fluid can go inside here. So it is not proof, it's resistant. So it's a liquid resistant coating that I'm actually providing just to make sure that these last or overlast the life of the car. All right, guys, thank you so much for visiting the channel. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you have a FICM, just don't even hesitate. Send it to MikeSalazarDiagnostics.com. Contact me. See you next time. Bye bye.